Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bleav in San Diego Baseball, the podcast. My name is Alex Miniak, the voice of Petco Park, alongside the three-time All-Star Heath Bell. Heath, enjoying a winter wonderland in Texas over the weekend. How often do you actually get snow in Texas, Heath?
Every few years. It usually gets cold enough where it freezes and stuff, but there's no rain, so it doesn't turn into snow. But this past weekend, it closed the school down for Monday and Tuesday, so it a lot of snow and a lot of ice. You'd just be slipping and sliding if you drove anywhere.
Yeah. You know, I came from New Hampshire before I went to San Diego. I know all about driving in snow and ice. Four-wheel drive helps, and low gears. You know, I always say, like, people always want to either jam on the brakes or they want to hit the gas, and those are like the two worst things you can do when driving in snow and ice. Low and slow, like Texas barbecue, baby.
It's just funny because Texas is just not used to it. And I mean, I kind of grew up all over the place, and I know how to drive in the snow and this and that. And it's just, people out here just, they're just not equipped with it. It's like, oh my gosh, there's ice on the ground. What do I do? And it's like, just drive slow. Be careful. It's almost like, what is that? What is that?
Yeah.
It means slow, like 40, 50 miles an hour, not 80.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like 15. So,
right. I mean, as long as you get where you're going, there would be snowstorms in New Hampshire. We would get 2 feet in a day, and I would throw it in reverse and go out that night like it was no big deal because you just knew how to deal with it. That's just it.
Yeah, you just, hey, I'm a little slip inside. Don't go too fast. Go slow. Like you said, low and slow. And don't go up hills or down hills.
Yeah. Well, we had a lot of Monster Jams postponed over the weekend, one of them being San Antonio. So I know you got something if we couldn't do Monster Jam in San Antonio. I was in Sacramento. It was quite pleasant, actually. 50s, nice days, sunshine. I was pretty happy with things. And then we went inside because we were in an arena. So at least through the windows, it looked pretty nice. Well, coming up on today's show, we're going to toss it back to my audition at Petco Park. We're also going to talk Yu Darvish and his contemplation of retirement. We also got a new Junk Wax Jam, and Fan Fest is coming up this weekend. I'll be there for that. No Monster Jamming for me this weekend. I'll be at Petco Park with the Friar Faithful. You know, a lot of people on social media are doing this trend where they're tossing it back 10 years to 2016 and posting pictures from this time in 2016. I'm throwing it back 12 years. We're going back to 2014 and my first audition at Petco Park. And I'd seen a few major league opportunities. I was a finalist for the Voice of Wrigley Field in 2011, and I had filled in at Fenway Park in 2012. And in 2014, I get this message from a buddy of mine, and he says, hey, Padres are doing an open audition. You should try out. Well, being in New Hampshire, obviously, it was going to require a little bit of coordination, but I had a bunch of flight miles to burn. I had a buddy who lived out here, and I said, you know what? A Saturday in San Diego when it's negative something in New Hampshire in January sounds pretty good to me. So I hopped on a plane, and I went out there and stood in line. There were 800 other hopefuls for the position that I currently have. And, people ask me all the time, it was, were you intimidated by everybody? I mean, there were good candidates in that mix as well. Some were just trying because they were fans. Some just gave it a whirl just because. But, there were serious contenders in that mix. And a lot of people thought that I was a ringer, that I had been flown in to stand in line and to do this thing and to win. And that is the furthest thing from the truth.
Didn't you fly in?
I did fly in, yeah.
You kind of were flown in.
You had an opportunity to either submit something via the web, like an MP3 or something, and I chose to come in person and on my own dime. So that's not the definition of a ringer.
No, but I think that's also huge. They probably took that in consideration. Like, this guy really wants the job.
Yeah, maybe. And I did, because I love San Diego. I wanted to be a part of it. So, I stood in line. This is like 7 in the morning, and I go up to the front of the line. They hand me a number, and I go inside, and they seat everybody behind the first base dugout, but behind the home dugout. And they have a microphone down front of this section with a camera. And so, like we're doing this podcast here, there's a microphone and a camera, literally just talking into the camera for who knows who upstairs. And so I wait 2 hours to get my turn, and I'm listening to everybody else do their thing. And we're all reading, I think, 3 or 4 pieces of the same copy, more or less, just variations, introduction, announcement, that kind of thing, lineup. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm hearing all these different styles and stuff. And I'm like, I'm going to put my earbuds in because I don't want to pick up any bad habits. When I go up there, I want to do it 100% me. So I go down there, and a lot of the other contestants either get jeered or applauded. It was like a comedy club. It was a rough, it was a rough crowd, and I didn't want to bomb, So I go up there and I do my thing, and then I turn around and I got a big ovation. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's nice. And I walk up the steps, I go to the top of the section, and there's a UT reporter up there. He asks me my name and my story, and I tell him, and he's like, oh, wow, that's really cool. Well, I go, I leave the stadium, and I fly back to New Hampshire. And they told me, like, hey, if we liked you, we're going to narrow this down to 100 people in the next round, and we'll give you a call on Monday or Tuesday. So I'm sitting at my desk in New Hampshire, and that phone isn't ringing, and I'm getting kind of upset because I'm like, I think I did a pretty good job. Like, I really want to move on to the next round. And, it's 3:00 in the afternoon, 4:00 in the afternoon, 5:00 in the afternoon, 6:00 in the evening, nothing yet. About 6:30, the phone rings, and it's the Padres front office saying, like, hey, we'd love you to come back. And I'm like, why did you wait so long to tell me? Well, I wasn't thinking. It was 3:30 Pacific time. So very much still.
It's not really that late.
Not really that late, no. But they asked me to come back later on during spring training. They were going to hold a couple games, the last couple games of spring training at the University of San Diego at Fowler Park. And so I said, yeah, I'd love to come out. So flew out again, did the same drill, met everyone at Fowler Park. I think we each did a half an inning. There were a couple of games, and again, flew home. And I'm like, okay, they're going to narrow it down to the next 50 or whatever. And I make the next round of 10. And then for opening day, they're going to bring the top 10 in to do an inning during opening day. And so I'm like, okay, well, here I am again, flying back for the third time for opening day. And I just remember the buzz about opening day. We were on Sunday Night Baseball that night on ESPN, and obviously nationally televised game. It was the Dodgers. It was the first game of the season. And I'm in a Major League Baseball park, and I'm feeling like, should I really be here right now? Do they know I'm just a minor league announcer just hoping to get a shot at this thing?
We're all minor leaguers one day, and you got to move up.
Yeah, that's right. So they're telling me I get the 7th inning stretch, and that Dan Schulman is going to toss it to me. So I'm like, okay, well, now, like, I'm going to be on national TV too now. So let's throw an added layer of pressure into this mix, right? So I go in and I do my thing, and I get the toss on opening day, and it was super cool. And if I'm remembering this correctly, somebody had run onto the field right before God Bless America, and so there was a delay. And I remember I'm getting my one shot for national TV in front of the Padres for an audition, and somebody's running around the field. So we actually had to wait until that person cleared the field. I'd already gotten the toss, and then I had to wait for that person to be cleared off the field by security, and then go ahead and do the introduction. So anyway, I'm invited back again, and that is for the Giants series a couple weeks later with the top 3. And we each take 3 innings. The person who's going to get the gig is going to end up working the next day. So this was a Saturday night, and then The next day was a Sunday. It was military opening day, and you were going to work that game if they gave you the job.
This is like brutal.
Yeah, it's a gauntlet, dude. It's a gauntlet. I'm doing the 10 minutes or less story version of this. This is over the course of January, February, March into April now.
Do they still do that? Like, I mean, gosh, usually you interview some people, you narrow it down, and you hire somebody.
Yeah, well, it was also very public facing at the time, and there was an internet vote in on it too. So there were multiple layers of this whole process. But you know what? I'm in the mix. I'm not complaining. As long as I'm still in it, I'm not worried about it, right?
Gotcha.
So we go and I do the middle 3 innings of the game, and I get yanked in to the president's office, who at the time was Mike D. And Mike pulled me into his office, and he's like, "Alex, I want you to know that we'd like to offer you the job." And I'm like, "That's super cool." And so I say, "Yes, of course." And I go back during the 7th inning stretch, and I announce myself as the new voice of Petco Park during the 7th inning stretch, which is super cool. I feel like I'm waving out the window like the Pope. Like there's a picture of me with my hand out, and I feel like, yeah, white smoke goes up. Here I am, everybody. You're stuck with me. And I remember I had some friends in town, and the local alumni club chapter showed up that night to support, and we all went out after. And I'm like, man, I can't stay out too late because I've got to work the next day. I have a 10 a.m. call time or whatever. So then I do my first game on April 20th, 2014. So so that like you said, it was a gauntlet. It was a long process, obviously still worth it. Entering my 13th season here, so very well worth it, and all based off a whim and just a chance luck flight out to San Diego just because I had extra points. And,
did you have a job on, kind of you're doing, or you just said, I'm putting all my eggs in one basket and just go for it?
A little of both. I did have a job. I was still working in minor leagues, still working for the New Hampshire Fisher Cats at the time, but I was beginning my 7th season with them.
They kind of let you go?
Yeah, they were all supportive. They were like, you get the job, get out of here. And I also had a desk job where I was working in sports marketing, and they were like, if you go, you still do your role remotely from out there until you get running. So I was like, great, let's do it. So the next part of that story, and this is just a little appendix, is that because I got the job on April 20th, I had to fly from New Hampshire to San Diego every other week. So if there was a home series, I'd fly out to San Diego, do the home series, fly back to New Hampshire, fly out for the next series, fly back. Yes. So I was doing that ping-ponging back and forth until the season ended. I got a ton of miles. I got more miles for the next audition, whenever that's going to be. No, I'm kidding. I'm married here. I ain't going nowhere.
That's good.
Yeah, but when I got back to New Hampshire after the season was done, I was able to pack up my stuff and move out formally. But yeah, man, just luck of one, getting that press release from a buddy of mine, and two, just riding it that far and being able to stick it out. It was a stressful summer trying to learn Major League Baseball while not living there, and the expectations that come with a very public facing audition process. Yeah, it was a lot. But obviously well worth it, because here I am, and now I'm talking to you. So
yeah, it's just like a little bit like my story. I didn't get drafted after junior college and was going to go to 4-year school. And my sister kind of convinced me to talk to the scout. Why didn't I get drafted? And if I hadn't made that phone call, the Mets wouldn't have signed me as a non-drafted free agent. And, I wouldn't be here. So, yeah, sometimes you need a little help from some people just bugging you, and then you got to go do it yourself.
Someone by the name of Yu Darvish is considering maybe a career change himself. He's contemplating retirement, according to the San Diego Union Tribune. They said he is retiring. Yu's agent says no. Either way, there are discussions about it, and the details of the contract or however they want to avoid it, pay it out, defer it, whatnot, are still to be worked out. But it looks like Yu is perhaps leaning towards hanging it up or maybe just going in a different direction. What do you think about all that, especially being towards the end of a career, dealing with a major injury, and everything that comes with that?
I think he just understands the organization. He probably wants to stick with the organization somewhere in the front office or, coaching or somewhere. And he's just thinking, look, I got hurt. They've been with me for the last 2 years when I've been on and off hurt. And, they gave me a contract and I haven't really lived up to it because I've kind of been hurt. We don't know if this was a thing that kind of kept going or he just tried to play through it for the last couple of years because he only pitched for like a month or two each season. And I think he's just kind of doing what the right thing is, but his agent is saying, hey, look, we signed a contract. Your agent wants to get paid and wants his client to get paid. So I think they'll probably figure something out, maybe defer some money, or I'm pretty sure he wants to rehab so he's able to, play catch with his kids or whatnot. And, or at least throw a batting practice later in his, like in 10 years. Yeah, at fantasy camp, that'd be kind of cool having Yu Darvish.
That would be cool. That'd be a good one in the mix.
Yeah, if he retires, I'm going to definitely reach out to him to, hey, you want to come out to fantasy camp? So, give him a year, but then come out, and it's only a week. So, I just think he's trying to do the right thing, but also, agents, basically agents get one paycheck out of your 12. That's what I tell people. And you get 12 paychecks a year, the agent gets one of them. And if you say, well, hey, I'm going to retire, I'm not getting any money, the agent's like, whoa, wait a second, where's my money? So, and I understand it's just part of the business part, but I think Yu's just trying to do the right thing for him and his family and the organization. But I don't predict anything will happen until maybe mid-season, or what I think will happen is they'll restructure the contract. He'll get paid this year. Maybe they'll defer some of the money. He'll retire at the end of the season or kind of go out at the end of the season so you can kind of have a, hey, look, I'm done. So, I think that's what's going to happen. It'll probably be something mid to end of season where they can get some time together and say, hey, let's retire Yu Darvish, the right way and let him go in retirement / maybe work for the front office.
Yeah, I think something will be worked out. He seems like a smart, honorable guy. I'm going to miss him. I love watching that guy pitch. He's one of my favorite pitchers to watch. He's been one of my favorite pitchers to watch since he came into the league with Texas.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah, and I just love the way he attacks hitters and how smart he is with his pitch mix and everything. And so that will be a bummer, but I don't think in any way it's the end of a relationship. I think that he will continue to be in the game in some way, shape, or form for years to come, whether that's showing up at fantasy camp or being a liaison for the Japanese leagues or I could see him in any capacity, really. Yeah. So it's not goodbye. It's just, it's moving on. I wish him the best, and I hope it works out, and I hope to still see him around Petco Park in some sort of future capacity. I know his son is going to be playing next year at UC San Diego, so he'll want to stick around the area. So, like you said, throwing batting practice, 10 years down the line, maybe family has something to do with that too.
Yeah.
Well, coming back on Bleav in San Diego Baseball, because we got to take a quick break. We are going to do another Junk Wax Gem. It's been a couple weeks. We got to get back and diving into our boxes again. But first, don't forget you can find us on anywhere you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart as well. We're Bleav in San Diego Baseball. And you can always find recaps of the show on the interwebs too at Bleav, BLEAVINST.com. And we'll be back in just a couple minutes on Bleav in San Diego Baseball. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Bleav in San Diego Baseball, the podcast. Alex Miniak, Heath Bell. Do want to remind you, FanFest is coming up this weekend at Petco Park from 10 to 4 p.m. Saturday. Autograph reservations are all filled up. So if you didn't reserve your spot in line for an autograph, there are no more. But if you still plan on going out, the Padres Foundation garage sale still going on. You'll still have a chance to run the bases. I hear there's a tour of the grounds crew area, which is pretty cool. Touch a rake, maybe. That's the experience. That'd be fun. Q&A sessions as well. Again, that's going on 10 to 4 on Saturday. So if you're still not there to get an autograph, it's still going to be a lot of fun. It's just a cool scene. You know, it's the first event of the new year, so to speak. And you can pick up some new merch, too, for the new year. So that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I always look forward to it. That is the official start to my season, is FanFest. So
garage sale is always a good time.
Garage sale is a great time. Last year I picked up the clubhouse chair. Who knows what I'll find this year?
If you find any bobbleheads, let me know. I'll buy them from. I'm pretty sure I don't have any of the new bobbleheads, so go ahead and whatever's there, pick it up, and I'll take it for them.
New giveaways were also just announced. So if you want to know what those bobbleheads are this year, they're on the Padres website as well. Well, we've got our Padres Junk Wax Gem. We haven't done this in a couple weeks because we've been busy, but we want to get back to it because it's one of the more fun things we do here on the program. I've got the Western Metal Supply Company pudding box. I'm going to pull one out of here. And this week, it is a 1994 Fleer Kerry Taylor. This is Kerry Taylor. He was a pitcher for the Padres. That's a great action shot right there. I like the perspective. This is more of a landscape mode than a portrait mode here. And you got the close-up of the face on the other side. Glossy, full color, both sides. Good-looking card. I like that they have the name here embossed in gold. That's a nice touch. Cards were getting really good by this point. This is a really, really nice one. A little bit on Kerry Taylor. He was born in Bemidji, Minnesota. That is the same birthplace as Paul Bunyan, by the way. He played in 2 seasons with the Padres, 93 to 94. That's it. His last game was June of 1994. He had a career record of 0-5 and a 6.56 ERA for his career. Now, the best part about this card, and it might not be the best part if you're Kerry Taylor, is a little bit of text they have on the back here. Let me read you what Fleer had to say about Kerry Taylor. Kerry has a promising future for the Padres. In 1993, injuries forced the Padres to promote Taylor from Single A move he was clearly not ready to make.
That's not good to be on your card.
That's what it says on his baseball card.
Baseball writers making baseball cards now?
Right. Oh, that is horrible. You get this good-looking card, and then you roast the guy on the back. Promising future, but he's terrible. That's what it says.
Does he have good numbers on the back, or his numbers like a 10 ERA?
He has a 6.45 ERA on the back, 0-5. So that basically it's his career record that's on the back. Must have not pitched much in 1994, but yeah. So he made the jump.
Card though, forget that.
You know, you make the jump from Single A, and they expect you to be an all-star. Then they give you this kind of they bust you on the back.
Well, they got a cool looking card. You got to say something, I guess, bad about it. Got a good looking card. Usually the young guys that get called up, it's just kind of like, you know, you got just a headshot or something.
Right. Well, you're lucky you got a card if you came from Single A.
Yeah. So
I think, and it's a good looking card. That's a nice card. So Kerry Taylor, if there's anything good to say about your baseball career, is that you got a nice card.
Yeah, a good looking card.
It's a great looking card. Now, the value of this card, I just looked it up. Now, you think, this is just a Single A guy who played a handful of games, 6.56 ERA. What do you think this card goes for?
The way you're acting, $5.
$1.49, which doesn't sound like much, but this is our second most valuable card yet. So,
not too bad. Easily $1.
Easily $1.
Yeah, it's not.
And $1.50 at that.
Well, it's just worth 10 cents. So, you know, it wasn't like 99 cents. It's $1 something.
Our most valuable card, remember, is the Jim Presley, the Ugly Bowman card. That was $1.50 something. So this is a pretty card. and it's worth something. So, or at least worth something on our scale.
Yeah, it's worth some to a punch.
Well, that'll do it for Bleav in San Diego baseball here this week. Our Junk Wax Gem, we put another $1.50 in the till. We're getting near a full $10 here on the show. FanFest coming up. Heath, how you feeling? How do you want to end the show today?
Well, I'm feeling a little chilly. I'm staying warm because out here in Texas it snowed and all that stuff, and it's starting to thin out a little bit. I'm really excited. Baseball season is starting to come. World Baseball Classic's coming. That's going to be excited to watch. I want it to be like next week, because football, we had playoffs, and then next week what is it? The All-Star game for football that nobody watches, but
Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Pro Bowl games. Sorry.
So next this 2-week venture right now is kind of like a bummer week for sports in my eyes. It gets right before baseball. There's no football. I mean, there's a little bit of football, but it's not overwhelming. It's just kind of like, what do I do for the next 2 weeks? But I'm just getting excited, seeing everybody getting ready to show up for spring training on social media and seeing what happens in the World Baseball Classic. So, it's going to be a little slow 2 weeks, but it'll pick up. It will.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. I know you are as well, and we'll talk more next week. So for the 3-time All-Star Heath Bell, my name is Alex Miniak. We'll talk FanFest and everything Padres next week. I'll Bleav in San Diego baseball.
See you later.